Tessie test. Accountability of women. Recently I was thinking about the accountability of women in terms of marriage. Modern woman is currently viewing marriage as something that is oppressive because it limits her financial mobility and her mobility in other pursuits and intimate pursuits, right? So the guy is given this carte blanche of, okay, I get to go out and make the lion's share of money, and then the woman has the role of staying at home and the very traditional role of things. So I was thinking about this recently because um, women oftentimes they'll bring up as a cop out. I don't want to get married to a man because if I get married to a man, uh, if I get married to a man, then he could just leave me, right? Um, I just realized recently that, as messed up as it is, that was a kind of that and the pill was the accountability that we had for women. A lot of men online keep saying things like, "Oh, we don't hold women accountable for things, and we don't do this and we don't do that, and they get away with this and that." I think, yeah, it's true. They do get away with a lot, but they didn't really get away with much back then, as much back then as they did now, because there were two things holding them accountable by nature, right? The men could leave whenever they wanted, and um, the pill. The pill wasn't created, so they had to make decent choices. This is just something I was thinking about. I think about a lot of times the morality of women, the way that their morals work. It seems like their morals are contingent on how they treat people is contingent on the social status of the person. Now, this is everyone, right? Everyone kind of has this inkling of, okay, I should treat this person better. I should treat this person this way. I should treat this person this way. I think it's human nature, but it seems to be even more profoundly demonstrated with the female psyche, where if, let's say, me as a guy, like regular, I work at a regular job, right? But let's say I am a CEO of some company. Now the woman doesn't know this, but while she's talking to me, she speaks to me as if I am nobody because she doesn't see that I have social status. But when I tell her, okay, I'm the CEO of this company, right? And she switches up. Anyways, I accidentally logged out of the thing. So she switches up her behavior and starts to act as if she okay, yeah, I want to be with this guy, so I have to be good for this guy. I want to be good for this guy. So I think that's just inherent to women's ego. They they treat people based off of whether the way that they treat people is based off whether that person has something to offer, has something that they want. So if a person has something they don't want or doesn't have anything they want, then they see that person as not being worthy of good treatment. But a person who has something they want is worthy of good treatment. So this is a very lower level way of functioning from a moral standpoint. But you see this even with like what you would see this kind of level of thinking with like a thief or a person who is a mobster. I mean, I guess you could see this with the dregs of society too. So you would see it with, um, say, you have like mob bosses or stuff like that, where you get better treatment if you have something they want, or if Yeah, I often think about the morality of women specifically because it seems like many times society knows that women are, for the lack of matter, for lack of a better word, uh, they know that women are amoral. They know that women, we know that women are amoral. We know that their morality is contingent on what you can do for them. So if you can do a lot for them, then you're important, and so you have to be treated good. But also, if you're a sucker, this is another thing I've noticed. So women, so if there's a certain degree of naivety that a man has, this is just theory out loud, right? I've noticed that if there's a certain degree of naivety that a person has, and the women are able to exploit that naivety, then the women see their behavior towards you as justified because you allowed them to do something. So they assume you knew that they were going to do something. But then they also assume that because you allowed them to do it, that you don't have a backbone and you aren't, they don't really see it as a bad thing that they've done something negative or emotionally abused you or something. They see this as something that is justified because you weren't able to deal with it. So in other words, the test that they give you psychologically and physically and all these other, well, it's not going to be a physical test. The psychological test that they give you, no matter how heinous or bad it is, first off, there is no mechanism to govern this. There's no way to arrest it. There's no way to litigate. There's no way to punish this in court or anything like that. So that's another thing. So a lot of this goes unsung, right? This is an unsung experience that only men. Well, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. Um, it's not specifically just men that face this. You get people who are emotionally abused, and it can be man or woman, old or young. But the point is, where I'm saying, speaking is the in the dating dynamics. Um, this is where we see the level of morality that women um, implement to the highest. This is pretty much the highest level of morality. Well, the highest level of morality I think they implement is for their children, but then with men, we see like the lower aspects of it, which are necessary for their own survival, which is perhaps why um, I've kind of learned to not really see them as moral beings in a way. I think the reason why they treat us the way they do is because they see us as hairy men. They see us as hairy women, so they treat us the way they do. They treat us this way because um, they don't see us as being different creatures. So if we do something and they don't like it, then they think that it was negative or that it came from a bad intention. But it's a misunderstanding on their part. The solipsism behind it is that, oh, you did this, okay, I'm gonna do this to you, and bam, all right, like it's an attack. But the guy doesn't know that he did something to provoke or bring out um, this negative nature in a woman a lot of times. But yeah, this topic actually, I think it warrants a lot of speaking about, and it's lesser spoken about in the manosphere. But part of the reason why you can't really hold women accountable without something so severe as starving. I think the fact that they would starve if they didn't choose a good man is a good thing. Um, there's not really a lot of other consequence. We don't really hold women responsible in any other way, really. And the more ways we give them, the more we give them an out to where they don't have to have responsibility, the worse society is. Um, I don't know why there's such a differential in accountability between men and women. Um, but until this is equalized, there will not be equality. There cannot be equality because the men are held to a different standard than the women. This is something that won't be realized for a long time. We keep trying to reinvent the wheel, right? The next topic will kind of go into this, but I'll talk about social, sexual politics, basically, which will explain, um, I'll go further into certain aspects of that. But yeah. Um, so, the grand scale of what I'm saying is women are not fully moral beings. Their morality is contingent on who they're dealing with, and really it's just a picture, just a reflection of the other person's morality. They're amoral. They're as moral as they need to be able to test a person to see if that person can give them what they need. Um, yeah, I don't actually think women are moral. Now, I think most men are moral, but I don't think every man is moral either. I think morality is something that also it comes in stages, right? So not every man will reach the highest stages. Not every woman will reach the highest stages. Um, but I don't think women can be fully moral because they have to test men. They have to test men in order to ensure their survival and the survival of their offspring. So as a result, there has to be, especially from an emotional standpoint, they have to be callous and they have to be able to treat a man immorally because this will allow them to find the strongest man by taking him through the most psychological pain. So women aren't really moral. Their morality comes after they decide that they found someone who is worthy of incubating their seed, right? Once they find that man, then they will treat that man perhaps as if that man is a human being worthy of morality, worthy of respect. But beforehand, there's not really a moral standpoint unless she has a father. I mean, I guess it's a certain aspect there, but it's kind of a disturbing thought chain, but I'm kind of a free thinker. Anyways, yeah.